You're watching the head coach Dave Moore Show, an inside look in UWG men's basketball with head coach Dave Moore. Now here's your host, Bryant Gray.
Hey Wolves fans, welcome into the head coach Dave Moore Show. Alongside Coach Moore, I am Bryant Gray. Coach, welcome in.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, as we head into the final week of November and the first week of December, you're 3-1, 3-0 record in the Gulf South Conference.
Yeah.
Not sure if you know that's the first time we've been 3-0 in the GSC since 2016, so that's got to be pretty exciting for you.
Yeah. I didn't know about 2016, but I knew since I've been here, this is the first 3-0 start in the conference, and it's always good to get off to a good start. We got a long way to go. This year 24 league games, so 21 more death matches left, but we'll take the good start.
Yes, sir. Well, let's take a look back at on Saturday where the Wolves were on the road at Union. The game was pretty much back and forth for the first half, but in the second we kind of pulled away after Union cooled off from that three-point line.
Yeah.
Game down to the wire, but the Wolves came out on top 71-64. Coach, let's talk about the first half and the way we hung in with Union despite the Bulldogs hitting 7 3-pointers in the first half.
Yeah, they came out, and that's what they can do at home for sure. Guys like Parks are guys that are streaky shooters, and when they get going, they're hard to deal with. And the Johnson kid is a guy that can make threes for them. And then the big surprise was DeBuck coming out and hit 3 threes, which he doesn't normally do. So give credit to them. They made their open shots, and we survived the half by getting below the foul line, getting to the foul line some, and shooting a reasonably high percentage, but our defense, other than the three-point line, was pretty good, and we made them work in the half court, and that's what we were hoping to do.
Right, and we go into the half now, 33-30.
Yeah.
Tell us what your message was to the team at the halftime.
Well, we were fortunate to be down 3, after giving up 7 for 10 from threes, and the rest of it was pretty good. We needed to do a better job on the backboard, and we won the backboard in the second half and won it overall for the game, which was important against those guys. It's a really good rebounding team. So we wanted to limit their second chances in the second half and do a better job at the three-point line, guarding their stuff at the three-point line. And I feel like we did that, and we finally won a game with our defense, and that was really good to see. And, guys like Colton Griffin, that was the matchup with Bo Gidgel that really hurt us last year. We didn't have any answers for number 11 last year. And Colton Griffin, I thought, did an amazing job battling him. It wasn't perfect, but he made him work for everything he got, and I think that was the difference in the game.
Right. Well, we come out at half. It's kind of still back and forth halfway through it, and then your point guard J.J. Barnes comes off the bench, sparks a 9-0 run, hits a layup, hits a couple free throws, and then dishes out a nice assist to Mike Z. Talk about the spark he brings off the bench. Because he was a starter last year pretty much, and now he's kind of more of a sixth man.
Yeah, starting point guard last year, and had a good year. 2 years ago was a guy that came off our bench and gave us great defensive toughness, and that's really what we wanted to kind of get back to, and that's what he does when he comes off the bench. He gives us toughness defensively. He's rebounding, he's scrapping, he can guard the best perimeter player no matter who it is, And the other night against Union, it was Ty Parks, that we needed. Mike Zebatakis was in a little bit of foul trouble. We needed to take some pressure off him, and JJ was able to guard Parks and did a good job on him, and got to the foul line 8 times and made 7 of them, and it was a huge lift for us.
Right, and now let's talk about your new starting point guard, Zodie Jackson.
Yeah.
33 seconds left in the game. He hits a dagger, a runner in the lane. Talk about, he's kind of been the closer all year if you think about it. He's kind of hit some clutch shots down the stretch.
Yeah, he has. He controls the pace. At the end of the game especially, he controls the pace. We don't have to run a bunch of elaborate actions or sets to get something good. We can put Zodie in a pick and roll, and Zodie's going to get us something good, whether it's, something good for himself, something good for his teammates. He really controls the tempo for us, doesn't turn the ball over, really takes care of it. I'm sure he's I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure he's one of the top guys, assist to turnover ratio in the league. And, he's a guy that really controls the pace for us. And he actually called the last play, the play that he hit the floater on to put us up 4. He wanted a certain action that we had just put in the week prior in practice. And, that tells me his IQ is there. He knows where he wants to get the basketball. And Zodie's a guy that can live below the foul line off the dribble. And that was a huge key to the game. And that's what we wanted to do to those guys is to, we weren't going to beat them at the three-point line necessarily. We needed to live below the foul line and get to the foul line and get high percentage shots off penetration. And Zodie, that's what he does well.
Right. Well, now we're going to take this 3-0 GSC, 3-1 overall. We're going to take it to South Georgia.
Yeah.
To those guys we don't like to talk about very much. Talk about what it's going to be. What's it going to take to be successful in that game?
Well, I mean, always against Valdosta State, you have to keep them out of transition. You got to make them execute in the half court. If they're running and dunking in transition, it's really, really hard to deal with them. You know, they got size, they got athleticism. They're starting basically 4 forwards and their point guard right now. So they're playing a big group. They come off the bench with some guards, but they're playing a really big, long, athletic group. So that's the first thing. It starts and ends with that. You got to keep them out of transition, eliminate their easy baskets in transition, and then make them execute in the half court, and then rebound with them. You know, that's always a key against those guys, no matter who they have. Coach Helfer's a great coach, does a great job with those guys. And then that environment will be the best environment we've played in so far on the road. And you have to deal with that. You have to deal with the CO2 cannons and the crowd and all that stuff that they bring to the show. But we've had success down there in the past, and it's always, you know, it's a big rivalry game for both teams, and the intensity will be high, and we're excited to play.
Right, and before the second installment of our show here, we're going to play a home game against West Florida on December 4th. So talk about how it's going to feel to be back in front of your home crowd on
It'll
Sunday.
be great. It'll be great. You know, right before exams, hopefully we'll have some students there. You know, it's a Sunday afternoon game, so hopefully we can get a good crowd. You know, it'll be a big game for us. All these league games are really, really important, but especially the ones at home. You know, to have a successful season, we have to take care of business at home. And we did that in our first 2 games, and we're going to get another opportunity against West Florida, who's a really well-coached team, and they'll come and play hard. And we're going to have to play well to win, and that's how the league is. You know, every single night, 24 nights, you got to play well to win. And most of these games are going to come down to the last 3 or 4 minutes, and you got to execute, you got to defend and rebound. And we've done that up to this point, so hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Right. Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it. Everybody in this office is. I know I am.
Great.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Fans, make sure you go to uwgathletics.com/tickets to get your tickets for Sunday's doubleheader at the Coliseum. We'll see you next week. For head coach Dave Moore, I'm Brian Gray. We'll see you next week.